He grabs the bat, as he always does.
The intro. Come on, man.
We are back in, my friend, Root for Sports podcast. It has been a little bit. We have been busy, as a matter of fact, out in the field.
Yes, we have.
Yes, we had a special interview with Miss
Milani Malik.
That's who we had that interview with, the Queen of New York basketball. We recently went down to a court, had an interview with her. She showed off her skills. It was awesome. You can check it out on rootforsports.com. And it was a great time, right? I had a lot of fun.
It was a great time. You should definitely check it out on our website and look at the special guest tab. And she's a great story, man. You know, you got a woman playing in the men's basketball league with aspirations of playing in the WNBA, which are realistic.
That's right.
And we hope to do our part in helping her get there.
No doubt about it.
Yeah.
So maybe it sounds like we're bragging a little bit because we had a great interview with a great person, but I think we should brag a little bit more, as a matter of fact. Very rarely do I like to pat myself on the back, but I am the sports prophet for a reason, and thank you. So you can pat me on the back. I appreciate it.
I'll get myself first.
Yeah, there you go. There, I got you also. You correctly predicted the Super Bowl winner going back, even the MVP. Kevin Love, you said was the best power forward in the league. He probably is. Kevin Durant, you predict will win the MVP. I'm starting to lean that way a little bit as well. And you have Peyton Manning going to Arizona, which is one of the favorites right now. So you've been really on point also, I have to say. As far as I'm concerned, I did tell you guys last week, and it's documented, that the Jets and the Redskins had no shot at getting Peyton Manning, and that's been more evident than anything with the Jets going ahead and signing Mark Sanchez.
And I wholeheartedly agree
and
with
you
the
did
Jets.
agree, absolutely.
I teased the Jet fans.
Absolutely, you did tease them a little bit. And I knew the Redskins, that's not another place he was going to go to, and I said, you know, even further that the Redskins will be the ones to trade with the Rams, and they'll give up everything they possibly can to get to the #2 pick and draft RG3, and that's what looks like is going to happen. And as far as my Peyton pick, it is the Chiefs, and they are one of 4 who are left in the running, so our wager is up, and we're both looking good, and we're both living by our names over here, you know?
Yeah, I mean, it looks like it's coming down to a battle of 3 between Denver and Arizona and Kansas City, and if 2 of those 3 come in.
Or Miami also. I mean, you know, let's not forget Miami.
Let's not forget Miami.
Miami definitely has a legit shot.
They're in there, and like you put in the blog, you know, it would be pretty cool to see them versus New England twice a year.
Oh, yeah.
Brady, Manning. But, you know, better than the once a year that we were used to. But I still got this weird feeling about, the name escapes me, the Packers guy, Joe Philbin.
The Packers offensive.
I find it very likely that they'll bring Matt Flynn with them. I'm inclined to say that.
It seems like a good fit, and it would cost a lot less, obviously, and, you know, they can, you know, use their picks for something better, maybe, you know, free agent moves, get another wide receiver in there. So, yeah, I'm with you, but we'll see. You know, definitely, Reggie Wayne is pushing real hard for it. We know that. You know, he looks like he wants to go back to where he played college ball in Miami.
Sense too.
Yeah, sure. So, look, we'll see. But the Redskins, they bucked up. They traded first-round picks this year with the Rams to get to #2, plus they gave up next year's first-round pick and the following year. So that's 2013 and 2014, if we happen to make it that far in the world. So they gave up a lot. And, look, I like the fact that they're going to get RG3 because I think that they need a new face in there, but it was a lot to give up. And now that kind of affects the rest of the draft and, you know, where other teams are going to... You know, the Browns are obviously out of the race now for RG3. And the Dolphins are out of the race for RG3, so it throws, you know, a little wrench in the whole program. What do you think? What do you make of this whole situation now, especially with the Rams moving back to 6, and Justin Blackmon, we thought was going to be their key guy. Can they still get him?
I don't know if they can still get him, because Justin Blackmon, quarterbacks aside, and even really if you include the quarterback, he might be the best player in the draft.
Excellent player. I look at this guy. I'm with you. Yeah, he's great.
Could be the best player in the draft. So I'm not sure. I could see him going to the Browns. My only concern there, as much as I'm a Colt McCoy believer, for the record, he doesn't have the biggest of arms. He's one of the most accurate guys out there, kind of along the Drew Brees sort of lines of things. But he doesn't have a huge arm. A guy like Justin Blackmon's a lot like an Andre Johnson type, or maybe even a Calvin Johnson type.
Sure.
Where
big wide receiver.
Right, so, I mean, could he get taken there? Possibly. You've also referenced Trent Richardson being taken there. I think that their running back situation is a disaster.
That whole Peyton Hillis thing was such a farce to me. It was putting him on the Madden cover, first of all. You know, it just looked, when you're good for 1 year.
What a joke. The fact was on the Madden cover. And then Hardesty, not overrated in my opinion.
Right.
And Trent Richardson, just a little comment about him. People question his size. I want to make people known to a couple facts here. The size of the running back has always been, in my opinion, an overrated issue.
Yeah, look at MJD.
Look at MJD. Look at this guy right here.
Yeah.
One of the best ever. And then, not on the ranks of the best ever, but given the season he had, I think it's worthy enough to say, look at the impact Darren Sproles had.
Oh,
and
awesome.
And it was from so many angles, but the thing that people ignore is the fact that he wasn't doing his running on the outside. He goes up the gut, man.
He does.
And he is tiny. He's a 5'6" wrecking ball, just like MJD. So Trent Richardson's size is not going to be an issue.
You know, that could be a benefit to running backs being smaller.
Because they can hide.
Sure, why behind these big 6'7" offensive linemen? Absolutely.
Yeah.
You ask a linebacker, they'd rather have a big running back there to look at and tackle them. They may not want to tackle them as much like a Brandon Jacobs kind of guy, which we'll get to in a little while. But
adios, Brandon.
Yeah, adios is right. But look, I like Trent Richardson going to Cleveland because running backs, like we had discussed before, they jump in right away and they can be 1,000-yard rushers right off the bat, and there's really no help around. They got a good offensive lineman. Joe Thomas will be, they'll be there forever in the Pro Bowl and everything, but they have a lot of work to do, so RG3 was not the move, so I'm glad that they didn't move up. Maybe they can get Blackman, but you say like Colt McCoy, not with the biggest arm and everything. Minnesota's a wild card. They're sitting there at 3, and all the talk is they're going to get Matt Khalil, I think, at USC. Is that right?
Yeah.
Offensive left tackle.
I'll defer to you on that one.
Yeah, no, I'm pretty sure. Anyway, offensive lineman, and that's always great. You want to go in that position. But what if they go after Blackman? What if they go after Richardson or something like that? Because they really don't have many playmakers, and you got this young quarterback sitting out there, Christian Ponder, and he's got nothing going on. He seems like he'd be a good player.
Well, they do have Percy. They got Percy,
yeah.
Percy's definitely playing.
He's not your quintessential wide receiver, though. He's more of your, I don't know, wing back kind of Reggie Bush / guy. But he's
better than Reggie Bush.
No, sure, I agree.
He's better than Reggie Bush, but do I need to say that again? Percy Harvin's better than Reggie Bush. Just to make sure that's clear. I mean, could Blackman go to the Bucs? I mean, is Mike Williams all that and then some? I don't think so.
The Bucs need a lot of help.
They need weapons, though. I mean, Blackman could go there, too. Maybe they swap out with the Browns. Maybe the Browns come back one spot.
It's possible, because what you said before, he's one of the best players, maybe if not the best player in the draft. And
yeah.
He'll go somewhere in the top 5 or not 6, but I don't know if the Rams are going to be able to get him now.
Well, the Rams, I don't think will be able to get him. I have to believe, although McDaniels left, but I have to believe that he's going to stick with Bradford. I mean, Brendan Lloyd is a good receiver, and Sam Bradford needs those receivers.
That's what I'm saying. He needs a Justin Blackman type. So if anything, I thought that maybe Cleveland would be their best suitor at 4 because they would be more likely to be able to get him there. But at 6, I don't know. We'll see.
Hey, one other thing I was going to throw out to you. I found it interesting. A friend of mine through social networking made a good point. He used to be a running back for St. John's, and he pointed out, could you imagine what would have happened if the Vikings would have won just one more game? They would have been, lost one more game. They would have been in the Rams' position, and they wouldn't have taken RG3, so they definitely would have been trading for a king's ransom.
Yeah.
I just found that line of thinking interesting because it's so small, the difference in what happens in these things, winning and losing one more game, or losing one more game.
Yep.
Just found it interesting. The Vikings could have been a whole other situation and could have improved their team that much more. Like we said, they need help too.
Yeah. You talk about this game of what ifs. What if Peyton Manning had never missed this entire season? Andrew Luck would never be becoming a cult right now. We'd be having a whole other conversation because they wouldn't be 2-14 or whatever they finished. So no doubt about it.
2-14, yeah. That's it.
Well, speaking of Peyton Manning, it's destination Peyton time. We're both on record of where he's going to go, and like I say, it's down to really 4 or 5 teams tops. My Chiefs, actually I'm a 49er fan, but I picked him to go to the Chiefs, and you picked him to go to the Cardinals, and they're both in the running right now. But all I keep hearing is Miami's the favorite, and if Reggie Wayne goes with him there, that's big time. Reggie Wayne, Brandon Marshall, Reggie Bush, they got a good offensive line. Jake Long, good young defense, no doubt. I mean, would be in a tough division, but also the warm weather factor. He's got a home there. It really seems like that place makes more sense than any.
Well, and again, I know we're into bragging in this segment, and I'll brag a little bit more, I suppose. But
good.
Arizona also very warm.
It is warm.
Very
different
warm.
kind of warm, but it is warm.
Different kind of warm. But here's the point I want to make about that, and I think we may have referenced this in one of our other shows. But could you imagine a scenario? I think we actually discussed this a little bit, but I have a funny feeling that Reggie Wayne and Peyton Manning could be a package deal.
It seems like it, yeah.
if that package deal goes to Arizona and you have Larry on one side and you have Reggie Wayne on the other, that is lethal.
Yeah.
Reggie Wayne has years left as the number 2 in this scenario. That is, and you're like, I don't know, their tight end situation's pretty bleak over there, but maybe they pick up a tight end in the draft.
Oh, but forget about it. If you have Larry Fitzgerald and Reggie Wayne, you know, and then Beanie Wells in the backfield.
And actually, while I'm at it, you know what? Let's make it a trio package deal. Dallas Clark just got cut.
There you go.
Maybe Dallas Clark and Reggie Wayne go to Arizona with Peyton Manning, and now you have the 2 of them plus Larry Fitzgerald plus Peyton Manning. That offense would be scary.
At this point in all their careers, I'm sure they'd all be willing to take some significant pay cut also to be together and try to win Super Bowls. That's what they want.
And keep in mind, Peyton Manning's already made it clear that he's willing to sign an incentive-laden deal, so he's going to be the least of the worries against the salary cap for the Cardinals if that's where he's meant to be.
He's not going to be making a whole bunch of money, you know, over the next 2 or 3 years, whatever he's going to be playing. You know, he
needs it.
Yeah, really, like he needs it. He's definitely got.
With all due respect, Peyton, you don't need it.
We know that he wants to play football, and he especially wants to prove his critics wrong. And a lot of people, again, look at him as like almost like a Dan Marino. He does have his 1 Super Bowl, but again, in the playoffs, he's had a poor record for a guy like Peyton Manning. So he still has stuff. He's got stuff to prove, no doubt about it. Yeah. Randy Moss has stuff to prove. He wants back in the league. He went to my 49ers and tried out. You know, at first thought, I was like, I don't know if I like this so much because I'm not a fan of Randy Moss, but then I think about it. If he wants to get back in the NFL so bad and he's willing to work hard, I would welcome him to try out and make the team again if he's in shape, because we really need a downfield threat. The 49ers, they don't have any. So I would be welcome to giving it a shot. You know, Jim Harbaugh is a tough-minded head coach, and I believe that he would put Randy Moss in his place if need be. I don't know what other teams are going to work him out, but just let me ask you real quick. Do you think that he would fit with the 49ers?
Well, let me ask you a question to be a prelude to that.
A question answered by a question.
Are they going to bring back Alex Smith? Is that official?
It seems to be. I mean, I'm still vouching for Peyton Manning to go there, but it doesn't seem like that's a likely scenario.
Okay, so let's assume they bring back Alex Smith. Does Alex Smith have a big enough arm to match the downfield speed of Randy Moss?
If he throws the ball as soon as it's snapped, that's probably the only way. I'm guessing, you know,
he's going to throw like a punt.
Yes, basically, snap and then just toss it down the field and let Randy go run after it. You know, so that's basically the only way that can happen.
Okay.
You know, so but that's a good point. You know, Alex Smith does not have a big arm, but it's a little underrated.
But could he go there? I could absolutely see him going there. I think if you have him there and you have the combination of receivers they have, meaning you have Randy Moss and you have Michael Crabtree and you have Kyle Williams.
Don't say his name. Just for a little while,
Look, he had a bad game, but he looks like he has promise, with all due respect.
Yes, he does.
He does.
No, he played pretty good.
Plus Teddy Ginn, playmaker, whether it be receiver as a returner. I think he'd be a good addition.
Yeah.
Could also be a better addition in New Orleans.
Yeah, he could be a good addition to New Orleans, and he did go and try out over there. I'm not sure exactly what they think of him, you know, how it all went. It's yet to be determined, but I'm glad you brought up New Orleans because they were definitely in the highlights over the NFL entire week with the whole quote-unquote bounty situation. It really doesn't sit well with anybody's stomach, but it's really funny how you hear a lot of former players talk. Not all of them, but there's a lot of former players say, look, this has been going on for years. You know, it goes on now. I've had coaches, you know, who have offered us, you know, not necessarily putting the guy out on the card, but if you make a big hit, you make a big, whatever it may be in a key situation in the game. So it's been going on for a while, but Greg Williams, among other coaches on the Saints, got caught. I personally find it disgusting. I have a lot more to say about it. I'd like to hear your thoughts.
Well, I found it interesting in listening to the story develop that there's really no other team that's really on the record. I mean, first of all, the report they dug up on this guy's like, I think I heard this correctly, it's 10,000 pages, which is crazy. But if you follow his path around the league and around, you know, everywhere he's been, the places that have this instituted really seem to be every place he's been, meaning as much as it probably goes on some degree, he made it into a system, which is clearly like a moral and I mean, there's a lot to say about that.
Right. It was institutionalized.
Exactly.
You know?
Exactly. That's the right word. Exactly. And my biggest concern with that is, and you know, people are going to hate me for saying it and bring him back in the conversation, but 2 years ago, in the midst of his best season, maybe of his career, at 40 years old, Brett Favre took the worst beating of a quarterback I've ever seen in a football game, whether it be Brett Favre or otherwise, ever.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the reports came down because Vilma had $10,000 on the line to each guy who knocked them out, or something along those lines. And it shows a lack of respect for the game. These guys get paid enough. Granted, their contracts aren't guaranteed, but they get paid enough. And it shows a lack of respect for... look, you're going to hit the guy. You have to tackle him. But the guy's a legend. If you're trying to hurt this guy, like, literally harm him, I think there's something wrong with that.
I think there's a lot wrong with it. You know, you always hear defensive players say you want to cut the head off the snake, which is the quarterback. But you don't want to do it intentionally where it's in a legal way. If you hit the quarterback clean and you knock him out, that's great. Congratulations. It's an excellent job. You know, you did your job. But here's what I want to say to the players out there who say this is not about money. If it's not about money, why is it being offered? You know what I'm saying? If Greg Williams, you know, for example, is saying, okay, you know, we're going to give $1,000, $2,000 to a guy who makes a hit and knocks, you know, somebody out of the game. You talk about $1,000, $2,000 to guys who are millionaires, but why is the money being offered if it's not an incentive? So that's my point.
It is. I mean, it's clearly an incentive.
Obviously it is. You know, whether it's for a pride thing or you want to show your teammates up and show that you're the man and you knocked them out, it's an incentive.
It is,
and it's bad. And
not to get into the legalities of it, because you and I are the furthest from being people who understand legalities, but there's an IRS issue with that.
Sure.
Meaning, it's also a salary cap issue. Those incentives or bonuses, whatever you want to call them, are a direct going against of the salary cap, which is against the league, the collective bargaining.
Yeah, that's
right.
That's right.
Just to quote one movie, which maybe you'll pick up on this reference, I don't know, but
I hope I do.
Yeah, I think you will. Jerry Maguire.
I've seen the movie, parts of it, bits and pieces.
The early part of it, the hockey player gets knocked out, and Jerry Maguire's in the hospital seeing him, and all you hear him say as he leaves the room is, "Gotta get the bonus. Gotta get the bonus." Right. And what I think about is this is surely an incentive, and these guys are clearly gonna. If $10,000, this isn't like $100.
Right.
10 grand on the line to knock the guy out. These guys are going to try and do a little something extra.
No doubt.
You know.
The problem is that it was being offered. It was brought up. It wasn't a player deal. We said we're going to get this together. It was initiated by coaches who were supposed to be leaders of the team. No good. I don't like it. And in my opinion, he and everybody else involved, not the players necessarily, should be suspended for a year. Suspended we are going to do to ourselves. We're going to suspend the show just for a few minutes. We're going to come back. We just want to watch a little bit of the Laker game, all right? We're big sports fans over here, so just give us a few minutes. We'll be back. What are we going to talk about when we come back?
When we come back, we're going to be talking a little bit about the NBA.
The NBA. I love the NBA.
Specifically, the New York Knicks.
Yeah, my God.
Which are starting to resemble the Bad News Bears.
It's a real disaster, guys. It really is. For all you Knicks people
things.
who aren't Knicks fans, you're very, very lucky. That's all I have to say.
And we're going to touch upon, you know, Oklahoma City, a little Miami, and some other stuff.
All right, cool. We're going to get back into it. In the meantime, you can always go to rootforsports.com. Check out the website, check out the podcast, the blogs, the interview that we did with the Queen of Basketball, the Queen of New York Basketball, and everything else. Leave comments, tell us what you want to talk about, what you want to hear, and that's it. We'll see you in a bit.